So, did you ever want to give your 2D player a trail to increase the juiciness of your Godot game, or boost it with cool VFX? Well, this is pretty easy to set up. And it's actually something I've done in the fast action arena shooter I'm currently developing, Cursor. One of the weapons you can equip is literally named Trail, and it's a bit like the bikes in the amazing Tron movie. Whenever you move with this weapon equipped, you leave a wall behind you that will damage all the enemies that try to go through it. Oh, and by the way, remember that if you want to help support the project by adding it to your wishlist, or you want to try out the free demo, you can have a look at the Steam page over here. But okay, so how can you create this kind of 2D trail and have it follow your avatar in Godot? The simplest approach is to use a line 2D node. So first, let's go to our player prefab, and we'll add a line 2D inside the hierarchy. Then we'll go to its inspector, and we'll create some temporary points to visualize what this line looks like. For now, you see it's just a straight white stroke, but we can easily change its width and its color with those options. And actually, you can even go further. Typically, you can use a gradient if you want the trail to fade from one color to another. In that case, the default color will be overridden. Or you could have the width of your line change along its length, for example, to have the line shrink at one end. Though don't forget that the ramp used by a gradient and the width curve both depends on the number of points in your line, so if I add more points in my line, you see that the effect is stretched along the entire length, taking all these points into account. Okay, now after you've set up the visuals for your trail, the idea is quite simple. We're going to continuously store the previous positions of the player and use those global points as the points of the line 2D. But since we're going to work globally, there are two things that we should do. First, we need to make sure that we toggle on the top level option on our line 2D, so this will compute everything in global space. And we should also go to the ordering section to put the z-index to -1. This will just make sure that the trail is shown behind the ship sprite, which makes more sense visually. Okay, and to actually execute our logic, we'll need to put a script on our player root node, like the one I have here, and that currently looks like this. So right now, my script just contains some basic 2D movement logic that updates the velocity in the physics process based on the left, right, up and down inputs, and rotates the player accordingly to have it face the right direction. Now let's add some code to handle our 2D trail. We'll start by taking the naive route and use our process hook, which is run every frame, to add the current global position of the player to our trail line 2D node. And if you run the game, you'll notice that when we move our player, we indeed already get our trail line that matches the previous positions and effectively traces out our path. But of course, at that point, our system is really bad in terms of performance, because basically we've got way too many points, and that's for 3 reasons. One, since we add points every frame, we've got lots of points because there are lots of frames, and that's actually way more points than what is truly needed for the line to seem smooth to our human eyes. 2, since we add points when we're not moving, we have a bunch of completely useless points that just stay in the same place. And 3, since we keep adding points forever, the trail will become infinitely long and contain a lot of data after just a few seconds of gameplay. Note that you might want to store a good amount of positions if you're working on a path tracer tool or some kind of paintbrush. I've actually done another tutorial that talks about how to make annotations and freehand drawing tools in Godot, so if you're curious about that, you can have a look. But in our case, we're doing a trail, and so this usually assumes that the line will fade quickly over time, and it should therefore definitely not contain that many points. Okay, so to solve those various issues, let's first go back to our script and do a first upgrade to our trail logic. We'll start by defining a maximum number of points at the top of our script, so that's the max trail count, and then when we add a new point in the line, we'll check to see if we've reached this threshold. In that case, we'll remove the oldest point at the beginning of the path, so that's the point at index 0, and then we'll add our new point at the current position of the player like we did before. Oh, and note that because we add points very often with our process function, we need to have a pretty high threshold for the max trial count. Otherwise, the points will basically be erased faster than we can see them drawn on screen, and so we just won't see any of our trail. If you rerun the demo, you see that with this update, our line now has a fixed length, and it follows our player without extending indefinitely. Something super important to note, however, is that with this technique, the max trail count should depend on the trail update frequency, and it directly determines the length of the line. Here's the exact same code, but just with different trail counts, and you see that the trail is shorter when the threshold is lower and longer when it's higher. Okay, now the second improvement we can do is, instead of using the process function, we could use a timer. Indeed, by creating a timer node in our player hierarchy with a somewhat low rate, for example 0.1 second or less, we'll still get quite a lot of points, and this will create the illusion of a smooth trail, but at the same time it will still be way more efficient than adding points every frame as we were doing with the process method. So with this timer ready in our scene, we'll again modify our script so that this line update is done in the callback function of our timer, which I've called update trail, and which is the code that was in the process function before. And so then I've assigned this callback function in the ready function of our script over here. And you notice that we needed to re-update our max trail count too, since, as we said before, it depends on the trail update frequency, so now that we create points less often, we can reduce this threshold greatly. And so again, if we try our demo, we see that the trail looks about as nice as before. If you're not satisfied, you can reduce the timer rate a little and readjust your max trail count, but it contains a lot less data and is therefore more performant. Finally, last but not least, let's ensure we don't add useless points when our player isn't moving. For that, we can simply go into our move logic, and when we toggle between a null and non-null velocity, we'll start or stop our trail timer accordingly if it's not yet in the proper state. And when we stop our timer, we need to make sure that our path is empty so that it's properly cleaned up visually, because if we stop our timer and our trail update instantly, we'll end up with a chunk of static trail behind us when we stop moving that doesn't shrink back to our ship. But in any case, there you go. You now know how to set up a simple 2D trail for your avatars, and so as your player moves, the line automatically follows its previous positions, creating a nice trail effect, but it doesn't do anything when the player is standing still, and it's not too heavy in terms of performance. But tell me, would you like me to do a follow-up tutorial on how you can check for collision-like situations and path crossing with this kind of 2D trail in an efficient way? Like the trail weapon in Cursor that detects close enemies and deals them damage when they cross your cursor's wall? If you're interested, leave a comment down below and I might do a follow-up. In the meantime, I really hope you liked this tutorial. Be sure to react in the comments and to subscribe to the channel to get more videos. And of course, a huge thanks to my Patreon members for the support, and to you for watching. And as always, take care.